Welcome back to the Legacy Podcast. My name is Olisya Grant, co-founder of Matrix Legacy Inc. We are back for episode number 23. This is the show where we create a blueprint for success, we look for ways to create generational wealth, and we break those chains of a poverty mindset. This episode right here is me trying to teach myself how to get over this big roadblock of distractions. And I'm hoping somebody can relate to this, and hoping even more that somebody could drop some tips for me, because this is something that I'm working through. So I read somewhere that the same way that we have compounding interest for our money, that our habits are the compound interest of our personal development. The things that we do, the actions that we take, those things are going to duplicate and they're going to multiply. So a good habit, once you start stacking it on top of each other, that's going to create success for you. But a bad habit is going to create a very toxic situation. And I don't know about you, but I lose way too much time to my cell phone. One of my mentors had mentioned, you know what, if you just take inventory just for a week, where you literally track what you do every hour, every 30-minute block of your day. And if you go ahead and look back, you will realize how much time is either wasted or not allocated correctly. I used to be caught up in that phrase of there's not enough time in a day. There's not enough hours in a day to get everything done. But when you put it into perspective like that, and you start actually looking like, all right, in this entire day, even if you just check on your cell phone about your usage, you're going to see very quickly that hours, which add up into days, which add up into weeks over the span of years and over the span of your lifetime, that's time that you could have been using to build what it is that you want, creating the life that you want. And so this episode is really centered around how do we eliminate distractions? How do we identify distractions? And I want to leave a few tips for you, but more so for myself, for how we can get over these distractions, because they are absolutely everywhere. So one of the things that I never really understood or wanted to understand is that the apps we download, things like Instagram, Facebook, all of these things, they were built with the intention to hold our attention. So there's certain features on there that are literally designed through hours and days and years of research and trial and error to figure out what is the best way to hold people's attention. So you are paying these companies with your attention, with your focus, because that was what they wanted to do. And mission accomplished, because sometimes I'll be sitting there, a whole hour will pass by, and all I was doing was scrolling on my timeline. For what? I don't know. What am I looking for? I don't know. What am I here for? What did I get out of that? And then you start feeling guilty after, you get down on yourself, and then you're not even motivated to do what you should have been doing in the first place, because you're kicking yourself in the butt saying, why did I just waste so much time in my cell phone? As soon as we realize that that's what it was built for, that's what those apps are built for, then now we've identified the problem, we can start looking for a solution. So what's happening is, while we're scrolling through that timeline, we're distracted by seeing other people build their empire, seeing other people create connections, seeing other people build themselves up. Meanwhile, we're losing our precious time, our most valuable asset, being observers, sitting in the stands, watching the players instead of getting on the court. And another thing I noticed was the reason it's so easy to get sucked in to that distraction is because the thing that we're procrastinating, or the thing we are allowing ourselves to be distracted from, is usually something that's uncomfortable. Maybe we've got to make phone calls to reach our sales quota for the day. Maybe our boss just dumped a task on our desk and we don't necessarily know how to do it, or it's not something that we're interested in. And so those distractions start looking more and more attractive. Maybe we're laying in bed an extra hour scrolling through the timeline because we don't want to go to the gym, because that is uncomfortable. And so as humans, our bodies and our minds are built for survival. We're built to be comfortable and built to avoid discomfort. We don't want to feel the fear. We don't want to feel the discomfort. We don't want to feel the challenge. So it's so much easier just to slip in and get lost in what other people are doing. And then we get stuck in this loop of watching what other people are doing, looking down on ourselves, saying, oh my goodness, I'm not doing enough. And then again, motivation is lost. Your whole day is gone. Before you look, the whole week is gone. The month is gone. The year is gone. And we're back at the new year saying, new year, new me, just to do the same thing over again. So there's a few things that I've put in place for myself to attempt to eliminate distractions. It's definitely not easy. I still get caught up. It's a daily challenge, a daily process that I'm going through, but I'm realizing more and more, if I want the things that I want to create the impact that I say that I want, I have to be doing the things that are going to get me there. And watching everybody else succeed and watching everybody else create experiences and memories and doing things is not going to help me get to where I need to be in my life. So one of the things that will help you eliminate distractions, well, it's helped me anyway, is to fill your plate or fill your calendar, fill your schedule. So usually it sounds a little counterintuitive. If you're trying to focus, you're trying to get clear on where you're going, usually you want to zone in on one or two things. However, if you put more things on your plate, not to overwhelm yourself, but you include more things in your schedule, then there's no later. There's no time to procrastinate, because if I don't do this task now, well, I've got this meeting after that. I've got this time scheduled with my family. I've got this time scheduled at the gym. So you don't even have time to procrastinate or get distracted, because you know what's coming next. You know what's on the go. So if you're finding that you have a lot of free time, I don't know about you, but I'm the type of person where, listen, if you give me a week to do something, I'm going to take that whole week doing a whole lot of nothing. And then the night before, I'm going to get everything done. That's how I made my way through university. You told me I have a month. Okay, well, I will take that entire month doing what I want to do. And then those last couple days doing what I need to do. And so filling up your calendar, filling up your schedule doesn't allow you that later, because that later time is filled with something else. So really, add something in, even if it's something that you love, if it's something that's something even that just brings you joy. Incorporating those things into your calendar are gonna force you to take action and do what you need to do to stop getting lost in the distractions. The next thing that you're gonna wanna do is schedule breaks, especially if you are in a space of entrepreneurship. That's really one of the benefits of having a 9 to 5, is that once you leave that office for the day, that work is left at the office. Whereas as an entrepreneur, your mind is going 24/7. You are your business at the end of the day. And so it's a constant process, and it's really hard to detach. Now, if you schedule in break times, strict break times, where, okay, at 12 o'clock today, 12 o'clock noon, I'm going to take a 30-minute break to just do whatever I want to do. If that means I want to spend that 30 minutes scrolling through Instagram, then that's what I could do. And you set a little timer, and as soon as that timer goes off, that app is closed and you're back to work. Scheduling in the breaks is going to make you want to do more work, because you know that something is coming. You're working towards a reward. And that is something I'm trying more. I'm attempting to implement into my daily regimens, so that I have something to work towards, and so that I'm not cutting off the things that I enjoy. I like being entertained. I like keeping up with what everybody else has got going on, but I cannot allow that to take away from what I've got going on. In the same breath, we all need a break. And you're going to be able to be more productive and more focused if you give yourself that time to breathe. So really scheduling that in is definitely going to be useful. The third thing I recommend, and I recommend this for a lot of things, knowing why you're doing the task that you're doing is going to help you get through it. And not just on a minor scale, oh, I need to do this because the deadline is coming. But it's really about who you are. If you value people seeing you as somebody reliable, somebody with integrity, a good team player, a fierce leader, whatever that looks like, then those values are going to push you to get the things done that you need to get done. If the reason you're working on your business, starting that project, having this collaboration is because you have a parent that you need to retire, or because you're trying to buy a house, or because you've got student debt that you've got to pay off, or simply because you're trying to create that generational wealth, you're trying to create those options for yourself, really cycling back to say, why am I doing this on the grand scheme of things? Even though this tiny little task might seem insignificant, when I place it into the big picture, how does this impact who I am and where I'm trying to go, my final destination? How does this task impact that? And that's going to help give the motivation to really get things done and remove yourself from that distracted state. Now, even with those things in mind, it's tough. There's so many distractions. You log onto the computer, there's ads all over the screen, or your cell phone is chiming every 2 seconds, and we're so automatic to go jump in and reach for it. It's almost like a siren. You can't even help it. And the technology was built that way. It's doing what it's supposed to do, but it's our job to do what we are supposed to do. The average person checks their cell phone 96 times a day. That's once every 10 minutes. And they'll be checking it even if an alarm doesn't go off. I find myself doing that too. I'll just open my screen just to see what's going on. No chime, no nothing went off, but I'm reaching for it and I'm going to check that. That's like an addiction. Once we realize that it's an addiction and not necessarily a habit that's serving our end goal, at least we can recognize and acknowledge it and start working towards eliminating or reducing that distraction. Even beyond that, our average attention span is 8 seconds. There's so many times I will walk into a room with real intention. I went in there to go get something important. I'll end up picking something else up or straightening up something in the room and then walking right out and forgetting what I went in there for in the first place. It's because we are pulled in so many different directions all the time. And so finding little things like ad blockers where you can literally eliminate the ads off of your screen. So when you log in, you can go there with the intention that you went for and come out with what it is that you went in for in the first place. Turning your phone on silent so we don't react to those chimes, or turning off the push notifications on our social media apps so we actually have to log in to go and see what's going on. Me personally, especially when it's during work time, I will actually log out of the app because it's almost like an instinct. I'll open my phone and I'll click right over on Instagram without even thinking about it. I went in my phone to check my banking or something and somehow I'm on Instagram and now I lost half an hour. So sometimes I will literally just log out. So even if I instinctively click the app, it will force me to log in, which is a hassle in itself. So usually I'll be able to close back out and get back to what I came for in the first place. So really just making it easier for yourself, creating an environment where you're going to be able to support your own self in eliminating distractions, letting the people around you know that, hey, I really got to focus on this in this window of time. And if those people can't respect it, those people probably shouldn't be that close in your circle anyway. But the moral of the story is you just got to make sure that you are creating an environment for success. Distractions are intended to distract you. It's our responsibility to say, I've got something bigger that I'm working towards. And my desire to reach my overall lifestyle goal, my overall business goal, my overall personal goal is more important than losing and spending time instead of investing it in the things that matter. So that's essentially the building block of the days. We've got to find ways to eliminate distractions. And the way we do that is first being able to identify them. And then second, setting up an environment that is aligned with what it is that we're working on. Setting ourselves up for success. Turning off those notifications, letting our people know what we've got going on, logging out, scheduling in breaks, filling up our schedule so that there's no later and no time for procrastination and distraction because we got somewhere to be and there's no later to get it done. All of those things stacked up on top of each other over time, it's literally another habit muscle, another thing that we have to work on and build towards. It's not going to happen overnight, but the quicker we can acknowledge it and the quicker we can recognize what our reason why is in the first place, that's the easier it will be for us to eliminate. And distractions will just start irritating you after some point. It's not even going to be attractive anymore. It's going to be annoying because it's taking you off track because you are so focused. So that's all I've got for the day, guys. I truly hope that helps somebody. I'm going to listen to this back a couple times and hopefully it helps me because that is probably one of the biggest challenges that I face on on an hour-to-hour basis. And so if you have any tips, tricks, anything that you use to eliminate distractions, I would love to hear it. Go ahead and sound off in the comments. You can reach out to me personally and let me know because I'm really just looking for ways to make it easier on myself to win. So if you are looking for other ways to stay connected, of course, you can reach out on social media. You can download the Matrix Legacy app, or you can even join us in the Matrix Legacy Academy. I will leave the link to all of that stuff down below. And so if you are enjoying this, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, send this to a friend. I will be here next week with another building block for success. Until next time, let's build a legacy.